It is so noisy, isn't it? All the time, all the noise, all the confusion, all the lies, right? Telling us how great Bidenomics is, what a threat to democracy Trump is, the war in Ukraine, blah, 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 blah. It gets distracting, not even distracting. What is it? You become numb to it. You really become numb to it. And they don't show us any of the cool stuff. You ever notice that? Even Fox News. They are so conflicted about Trump. It's kind of funny to watch. I don't have that problem. Take a look at this.
This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
Come on, you got to admit that's cool. It's very cool. Politics does not have to be boring, all right? And he's speaking a lot of truth. There are cool videos like this. And also, oh, by the way, policy initiatives, detailed written statements that he puts out. And yeah, videos where he talks about like the recruiting crisis our nation's military is facing.
When I'm back in the White House on day one, we are returning to a foreign policy that puts America's interests first. America's chief interest in Eastern Europe is peace and stability. We want people to stop dying. This war should never have happened, but it is long past time to end the senseless death and destruction. Joe Biden's woke policies and political purges have repulsed many great patriots from serving. They don't want to serve in our military. Frankly, they disrespect our president. That's a big factor. I will restore the proud culture and honor traditions of America's armed forces, and there will be no Marxism allowed, no communism allowed, and we'll get rid of the fascists. Thank you very much.
What do you think, huh? I like it. And no communism allowed in the military. I think that is totally reasonable. These videos, the material he's putting out is great. It's a great canceller of the noise, and the noise is intense. And here's something else, you know, all that chatter all the time about how terrible Trump is, how great Biden is, protecting Biden, ignoring all the stuff about Hunter. It can drive you crazy and it can make you kind of frustrated. What can we do? What can we do? Well, there are some simple things we can do. All right, I'm going to go through them. If you start doing this stuff, I think you'll feel better. Number one, I'm not saying to what candidate, but if you start giving money, you will feel better. All right, you'll have some ownership in this. And guess what, everybody? If you can only give $1, if 1,000 people give $1 each, that's 1,000 times better than one guy giving $1,000. Does that make sense? More people, small donations. That's the new super donor in America. Also, post on social media. I know that, turns off a lot of people, social media, just go for it. Set up an account and pipe off about politics. I'm kind of saying join the noise, which is a little bit contradictory, but I think it's important. Too many people are censoring themselves, right? Self-censoring. We have to stop that. Here's something else. Write a letter. Write a letter, a physical letter. Ink, type it up, print it up, whatever, to a congressman, to a senator. Let them know that you're out there and you feel a certain way about an issue. Letters get their attention. Generally speaking, if you email a congressman, it goes off to Nowheresville. That makes a difference. Of course, we all got to vote. That kind of goes without saying, right? Vote in the big elections and in the small elections. And here's something else that I actually need to do, more than anybody probably, study the United States Constitution. All right, real quick, what's the 7th Amendment, right? Can you whip that one out right now? If you can't, you got to study. And so do I, so just some suggestions. In the meantime, we do have to address, well, we did cover extensively the whistleblowers, and this was so important. These guys from the IRS, I was really impressed with them, and we went through their testimony yesterday. I thought it was so important that the mainstream media could not ignore it. Wow, silly me.
Tonight, the images coming in now, the monster tornado touching down in EF2, winds up to 135 miles per hour.
All right, I get that. That's a big story. But come on, next.
The passengers on board a Delta flight sitting for more than an hour on the tarmac amid triple-digit temperatures outside. They had to call in medical teams and oxygen.
I feel terrible for those people, but come on.
Former President Trump tonight bracing for what he predicts will be an indictment and arrest after being told by the special counsel he is the target of a federal criminal investigation. Tonight, what we're now learning that was in that letter from Jack Smith. The federal statutes reportedly cited. John Carl with late reporting for us.
All right, they can't resist that. So after that, this would be the perfect time to talk about the whistleblowers, right?
Escaping an alleged house of horrors. Authorities say two young brothers, just 7 and 9, climbing out through a window. Their mother and her boyfriend under arrest tonight. Neighbors calling 911.
Yikes. I'm glad those kids got out of there safely. All right, come on. One more chance.
And America Strong, the kindergartner, and what he revealed as he stood before the crowd. And it is extraordinary.
From ABC News World Headquarters.
World Headquarters, World News Tonight. Everything except the story that's possibly negative, possibly embarrassing, possibly criminal behavior from the Bidens. Let's give somebody else a try. The New York Times, the print edition. I have not actually picked up the print newspaper in a long time. I have not yet looked through this. This is Thursday, July 20th, so it would be in this paper because it was yesterday, right? It happened yesterday. Definitely not on the first page. Not on the second. Ads, stuff like that. U.S., China, global climate change. Something going on in Spain. Protests and is that no. Imprisoned to act. No. Oh, goodness gracious. National. Here we go. Subway and bus fares. Oh, save the whales. Sorry about this. I thought it'd be earlier. It's got to be in here somewhere. Some sheriff in Mississippi in trouble. Goodness gracious. Here. Yes. A16. There it is, below the fold. A16. Thank you, New York Times. On page 16, they did it. And, well, is it fair? Yeah, it seems like they covered all their bases. But what about that fake news guy on TV? What does he really like to cover?
A white woman blocking a black tenant from entering their apartment building.
A white woman confronting a black man about entering her apartment building. Great. All right. So you see what happens here, right? The fake news, they evaluate stories this way. Does it help Trump? That's not a good story. Does it hurt Trump? That's a good story. Does it help Joe Biden? Does it protect Joe Biden? That's their angle on just about everything. It's not our angle, of course. Regular people, I don't think we care. I think we just kind of want an honest reflection of what happened yesterday, certainly in the newspaper. You can't ignore something as big as those whistleblowers and as big as the 1023 from the FBI. Have you heard about this thing? It's finally been released. Democrats, they said this would be the worst thing in the world, didn't they?
That's a really dangerous, risky thing to say that that internal FBI documents, these forms 1020 that relate to the statements being made by confidential human sources in conversation with other people should be released to the public. I mean, that's a really dangerous, risky thing.
Guess what I got? A Form 1023, Congressman Raskin. The public has the information. Wow, that is very dangerous to you people in power. This is all about, well, a guy named Zlochevsky who started Burisma. And this is the way things roll in Eastern Europe. You bribe public officials. I don't blame Zlochevsky, this guy. He is doing business the way they do business over there. He's bribing people. He hires people like Hunter Biden to get stuff done. I'm going to go through all the juicy parts in this memo. One term we have to clear up, though, defined for everybody, including myself, CHS. That means confidential human source. We'll be using that term throughout. Are you ready? Let's go. Number one, They hired Hunter Biden to protect us through his dad from all kinds of problems. He replied, Porjosky, that Hunter Biden was not smart and they wanted to get additional counsel. Zlochevsky replied something to the effect of, don't worry, Hunter will take care of all those issues through his dad. They said that it costs $5 million to pay for one Biden and $5 million to pay for another Biden. The confidential human source told Zlochevsky that any such payments to the Bidens would complicate matters, and Burisma should hire some normal U.S. oil and gas advisors because the Bidens have no experience with that business sector. I like this confidential human source. Zlochevsky made some comment that although Hunter Biden was stupid and his dog, Zlochevsky's dog, was smarter, Zlochevsky needed to keep Hunter Biden on the board so everything will be okay. CHS understood this to mean that Zlochevsky had already paid the Bidens, presumably to deal with Shokin, the prosecutor. The confidential human source asked Zlochevsky whether he was concerned about Burisma's involvement with the Bidens. Zlochevsky stated he did not want to pay the Bidens, and he was pushed to pay them. Zlochevsky stated Shokin had already been fired and no investigation was currently going on, and that nobody would find out about his financial dealings with the Bidens. The confidential human source then stated, I hope you have some backup proof for your words, namely that Zlochevsky was forced to pay the Bidens. Zlochevsky replied he has many text messages and recordings that show he was coerced to make such payments. Additionally, it is extremely common for businesses in Russia and Ukraine to make bribe payments to various government officials. I talked about that earlier. The confidential human source clarified that Zlochevsky said he had a total of 17 recordings involving the Bidens. 2 of the recordings included Joe Biden, and the remaining 15 recordings only included Hunter Biden. The source reiterated that, per Zlochevsky, these recordings evidence Zlochevsky was somehow coerced into paying the Bidens to ensure the Ukraine prosecutor general Viktor Shokin was fired. Now, the FBI, throughout all this, they did not want to give out this memo. They say it will compromise the confidential human source. A couple of things. They actually respect the confidential human source. This guy is well placed. They want to keep him alive. They want to keep him safe. I want that as well. Oh, by the way, the FBI, they've got plenty of resources to keep him safe. So I think that's covered. Remember when Joe Biden bragged about getting that prosecutor fired? Doesn't it all kind of make sense? He's trying to make it sound like it was a policy thing. It was a money thing, I do believe, for him. That's what this says.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired.
Why would he tell that story about, and why would he have gotten involved in the termination of some prosecutor in some country? Is there any country in the world where Joe Biden tried to get a prosecutor or any local official fired? I'm pretty sure the only country is Ukraine. How about that? How much money did he get? The family and associates, it's alleged $17 million from Ukraine. And when you ask Joe about this, what's his cutesy, not really cutesy, reply?
Bribery allegation. Congresswoman Nancy Mace says there's damning evidence in the FBI file that you sold out the country. Do you have a response to the congressional Republicans?
Where's the money? I'm joking.
Mr. President,
It's a bunch of...
Where's the money? Where's the money? They hid it well, it seems. That's what Bobolinsky has said. That's what this says. They have hid the money very well. They spread it out thinking they would never get caught, but I think they're busted. However, they are unindicted. At this point, they have not been arrested. Who has?
The left is once again trying to destroy me because by destroying me, they destroy you, they destroy the whole country, which is really what they want. It's a big and vicious witch hunt, but the real victim isn't me. The real victim is you. The deep state is trying to stop you from voting for the only candidate who will restore power to the American people, and they understand that. But mark my words, on November 5th, 2024, the American people will take back our country, and we will make America great again. These fascists and Marxists and communists will be defeated. We have no choice, or we will not have a country left. Thank you very much.
Think of everything he's going through and look at that attitude. It's a winning attitude, and it is inspiring. You know, we all have trouble in life, right? We all have things go wrong and stuff we're dealing with. Imagine 3 indictments and possible jail time, and yet he still presses on. It's kind of amazing. Now, the thing that they're trying to get him on regarding January 6th, they came up with this law. They found it. I think it goes all the way back to what, like the early 1900s. 18 U.S. Code 241, conspiracy against rights. I've been through this thing. I'm not the only one who thinks this is a joke. Let's go ahead and cite it. Let's see. If 2 or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, blah, 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 in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, I think they get 10 years in prison if found guilty. And it's the or part, intimidate or threaten. You know, you have to do that in politics sometimes. They're criminalizing, I do believe, regular speech. If 2 people tell somebody else to shut up and go home, is that in violation? Even the corrupt prosecutors from the left, if you watch carefully, they know they're kind of really stretching this.
Explain that to me, Chuck.
Well, sure, Katie, I'll try. So we all have rights conferred upon us by the Constitution and the laws of the United States. We can travel, we can publish, we can speak, we can petition our government, we can vote. Now, if somebody or somebodies, if somebody conspires with others to threaten one of those rights, Katie, undermine one of those rights, oppress one of those rights, that's a federal crime.
With these guys, everything is a federal crime. I've not heard anyone say that Donald Trump tried to prevent anyone from voting. Have you? He's trying to figure this out as he's going along here, and it doesn't get much better.
This statute would cover the oppression, the threatening of the right of citizens or members of Congress to vote, to exercise a privilege, a right guaranteed to them by the Constitution and the laws of the United States. You know, it's not clear at first blush that that would be, you know, one of the statutes that the special counsel would cite, but it makes sense to me. I've seen it used. I've read the statute carefully, and it's sensible, Katie.
It's not sensible. He knows it. You can tell. If somebody feels, then he goes on to say, if somebody felt uncomfortable, you can try somebody for a felony. Ruby Freeman, remember that character? Acknowledged by Joe Biden as one of the heroes who helped save his political career in Georgia. Ruby Freeman, Raffensperger, he was uncomfortable at one point. Granted, I think this guy is uncomfortable at a G-rated movie. I just don't think, I think he's a very kind of skittish type. That's why they've all been saying they feel threatened, they feel uncomfortable setting up this kind of bogus prosecution. Jocelyn Benson, the Secretary of State in Michigan, she was really hitting that hard. Oh, I felt threatened by MAGA, so uncomfortable. Well, we caught her. And a total lie when we come back.